The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOFWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting piece of Art of War content. Today we have another detachment for the Grotmas.
The Chaos Knights! The Iconoclast Fiefdom.
Absolutely. I am super excited for us to get a new detachment. Of course, we've been getting these daily detachments, and that's why we've been putting out these daily videos to talk about them. But Chaos Knights now have their time to shine. I love Chaos Knights. I think the army is super cool. I love playing it, and I'm very excited and looking forward to playing with this new detachment we just got.
Me too. I love all things Chaos. I'm a big fan of the Chaos Knights, and as we do here, we're going to review this detachment live for you on our YouTube channel. We're actually doing this every single day this month. We're putting out live content because it's Grotmas, and the Games Workshop gods have delivered a new detachment for every army in the game. So if you want to catch this content, just click the subscribe button, like the video. It really helps us out, and leave a comment letting us know what you think. You'll get notified every single day that we do these detachments, and we'll be playing live games with them as well on Wednesdays.
Indeed. As a matter of fact, we are also doing content in the War Room to talk about each of these new detachments. So there's a list video going live for every single detachment as soon as it comes out. Those are going up in the War Room. So maybe when you're done watching these, you want to check out, maybe some of our first draft lists later today. Well, you can find a link in the description below. And just for this month, to celebrate Grotmas, we are running 50% off your first month in the War Room. Use the code GROTMAS2024 in all caps, and you'll get 50% off your first month of the War Room. So maybe you've been thinking about the War Room for a while. You want to check us out. You want to see some of the updates we've been making lately. Well, now's a great time to get in there and check it out.
Absolutely. Not only are we doing a list video breakdown in the War Room for every single detachment in the game, but we are also going to do all battle reports featuring new detachments all month long and into January. So if you want to see some of these new exciting rules getting played by some of the best players ever and are teaching you how to play it, definitely check out that War Room. 50% off, promo code in the link description.
Absolutely. So as a quick note, by the way, if you're here for the Imperial Knights review, that's going to be going live right after the Chaos Knight one. So we're doing Chaos Knights first, but as soon as that's done, we'll be right back to an Imperial Knights review. So if you're a fan of all types of towering, Titanic monsters, we'll just hang out with us for a little bit. And then as soon as we're done talking the spikes, we'll shave them off and get a little loyal.
John,
I'll kick Nick out for that part.
That's true. We got some subs coming in. But you know what else is coming in? The spiky, chaosy goodness. Show me these Chaos Knights, Sean. What do they do?
All right, let's kick it off. So this detachment is all about adding a little bit of cultisty love to your Chaos Knight army. So we have the Iconoclast Fiefdom. And the first thing to note is the Wretched Thralls rule, which lets you take up to 500 points in your normal match play game of damned units from Chaos Space Marines.
I do love my damned Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, and so the damned units, that's basically like everything cultisty, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be your Chaos Cultist, your Accursed Cultist, your Traitor Guardsman, your Felgor Beastmen, and your Dark Communes. And I believe your Ogre and Enforcer Bodyguard person.
And your Firebrand.
And your Cultist Firebrand. Can't forget that guy.
There's so many options here.
So largely speaking, you just get these trashy Chaos models into your Chaos Knight army.
All right, now let's talk about the actual rules that we're adding here. So the first rule here is that while a friendly damned unit is within 9 inches of this unit, then it can reroll a hit roll and a wound roll of 1. And that's for all Titanic Chaos Knights.
Okay.
So the big boys are an Orbital, one's to hit and wound for the little guys.
And traditionally, at least in the old detachment, you're pretty much playing mostly all little dogs if you're playing competitively.
Yeah.
So interesting that they're trying to help out the big ones.
Yeah, trying to help out the big ones. We'll see about that. And then the next one is Dark Sacrifice. And that is this is the spice.
Ooh.
Each time a Chaos Knight shoots or fights, it can make a Dark Sacrifice. And you select a damned unit within 6. That damned unit takes a leadership test, and if it's passed, it loses D3 models.
Screw
so
those
if
guys.
Pass, yes, screw those guys. But if it fails, it loses D3 plus 3 models.
That's like half the unit.
It's like half the unit. But in either case, the Chaos Knight can choose to get sustained hits 1 or lethal hits until the end of the phase.
That's really nice. Like a nice brigand shooting 12 shots, sustained or lethal, and all it costs you is like a couple cultist meager lives. That seems dope.
Yeah, it's very fluffy, and certainly those cultists are not worth much to me. So I'm willing to get some sustained hits in here. But I could see you burning through those guys pretty fast.
Yeah, but also it's like 50 points for 10 cultists.
Yeah.
You could take a lot of them and not even miss it.
I mean, that's why they're there, right? To serve their Dark Masters.
That's true.
To get sacrificed. Mm-hmm. All right, so 4 enhancements here. You want to hit us with the first one?
Yeah, so we've got Profane Altar for 20 points. Chaos Knight models only. Each time the bearer makes a dark sacrifice, the maximum number of models are destroyed. So, like, if the selected unit passes, it's 3, and if it fails, it's 6. But until the end of the phase, the bearer's weapons have both sustained and lethal. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that'll hurt. I think that you would want, if you're going to take this, it feels like it's on a big night.
Yeah, you're probably not going to take this on a small knight, especially because a small knight is a stalker, I believe.
Yeah.
He's got not the weapons you want to make use of
it's
with
like,
this.
you take the melt, it's 2 shots. You don't
No, you put it on a big knight, let him rip.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it. If you're trying to do big knights, this is definitely helpful for
if
that.
you did like a double gun big knight, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Because like the melee knights, frankly, don't really need lethal.
Yeah.
Being real honest.
That's true. The Knight Tyrant with this, though, could get tyrannical.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking just like double Gatling cannons. Just
Oh,
like
you
36
I didn't know that
shots
was an
sustained
option,
lethal. Yeah, you can still do the double Gatling.
That's
Yeah,
fire.
sus lethal is kind of cool there.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, up next is Pave the Way. This is my favorite one, honestly. And this is that, so it's Chaos Knight only. At the start of the declare battle formation, you could choose 3 damned units and they get Scout 6 inches.
That's sneaky really good.
I think it is.
See, Chaos Knights have like a playing the mission problem. They really don't have low committal trade pieces. So adding cultists directly helps that. But then on top of that, giving them Scout lets them get to those spots that you want them to get to without spending that turn in the open.
And it's 15 points.
And it's 15 points. And it's 3 units.
15 points. I'm just willing to spend that. Just get those guys moving upfield.
Like, the way I see this is you're starting a Chaos Knight army now with 3 units of 10 cultists and this enhancement.
10?
All right.
All right.
What are you cooking up? Find out in the war room.
Yeah. All right. Up next.
Tyrant's Banner, only a 5-pointer. Chaos Knight model only. Each time the bearer makes a dark sacrifice, select 1 visible damned unit to take a leadership test instead of the damned unit within 6 inches. That seems pointless.
Yeah, it's 5 points, but you could just like put the Chaos Knight within 6 inches if it was important to you.
I think the real thing is you have to have a dude to take the enhancement.
Yeah, so here's the time where I like it. Okay. I'm not saying we're taking this every time.
Yeah.
Cultists move 6. Some of the melee knights move a little faster than 6.
Like
just
14,
like slightly.
Yeah,
like a Lancer moves 14. I don't hate it on a Lancer because the Lancer is going to outstrip those cultists on like turn 2. Like turn 2, the Lancer is charging and the cultists aren't there.
Okay.
And since he's Titanic, he can like barely touch a terrain feature while he's charging. And he can like look over his back shoulder and say, "You guys, help me out here."
I'm not gonna lie, John. I don't really play Chaos Knights. That's your job. But I struggle to see Chaos Knights as an army that isn't 13 War Dogs. So the fact that you're talking about Lancers and actual combos involving them really makes me excited.
There's reasons for that. I promise. There's more reasons to talk about the Lancer.
Oh, exciting times.
I know, right? Then we have one more enhancement. This is Diabolical Resilience, and the bearer gets a 6 at Feel No Pain and ignores all modifiers to move, advance, charge. And I'm not going to lie to you, I would rather have this than the Tyrant's Banner. But it's 30 points more.
I mean, a 6 up Feel No Pain is like 4 or 5 extra wounds on that body, like on a big knight. Yeah. And then ignoring move, advanced charge rolls doesn't sound that impactful until it is.
Yeah, because like the Lancer has 25 wounds. So you add a 6 of Feel No Pain to that. It will take longer. And as soon as it's important, you're going to be glad you have those ignore mods.
Yeah, with the difference between a knight living on like 1 or 2 wounds versus being dead is like it's literally insane how big that difference is. And if you can make that happen, that's amazing.
Agreed. All right, so we've got 6 stratagems to cook with here.
Yeah, Avenge the Masters. 1 CP, you can use it in any phase. You target 1 Chaos Knight unit from your army that was just destroyed. And until the end of the battle, the enemy unit that destroyed your unit is marked. Each time a damned model in your army makes an attack from the targets the marked unit, it can has lethal hits ability. So this is actually helping your Chaos Space Marine allies retaliate against someone who killed the Chaos Knight.
Yeah, I struggle to imagine the world where I'm taking enough cultists that I want this, but I could very well see the point where, because like you don't get the pacts on these Chaos Space Marine allies because they're not in a Chaos Space Marine detachment, so you don't get the pacts. If you invested in some of the bigger units like the Accursed
Like a
Cultists,
big
the Dark
Accursed Cultist
Communes,
brick, yeah.
getting lethal hits is a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially you've got some reroll ones in there. I don't think there's a lot of ways to get full rerolls hits.
I don't
like
think
cultists.
this army wants a big Accursed Cultist brick, but if you take one, this is definitely a good pocket strat.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I like maybe if you run the other go wide approach and run like 6 units of 10 cultists, which I think is an interesting line with it, that is like 60 dudes with lethal hits now. Yeah.
It could be a lot. Up next, we have Wretched Masses for 2 command points. And this just targets a damned unit excluding Accursed Cultists that was just destroyed. And you can put it back into reserves without any characters.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, you remember you used to be able to like bring back a big old cultist squad?
Well, I think it's really cool for a few different reasons. You can revive regular big cultists and just get 20 more bodies back for all the obvious reasons. But then something that I think is undersold and undervalued about the strat is like you can die on turn 4, come back on turn 4 or 5, and like get some secondaries in the backfield, like complete a secret mission with Battle Line. Like you can really mess with the timing of reserves coming back to life with the strat. I like it a lot.
Agreed.
This is a great pocket strat.
Yeah, I'm happy to have that one. Like if we're gonna be using rules on cultists instead of chaos knights, more cultist is what I want.
Yeah, and I see we got a super chat from Alasdair C with the £5. We're gonna do all our super chats at the end, folks. But thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Next up is Soul Hunger. I do hunger on souls.
Yeah.
The fight phase just after a Chaos Knight unit from your army has fought that Chaos Knight unit. If one or more models was destroyed as a result of his attacks, your unit regains up to D3 lost wounds. If one or more models from battle shocked units were destroyed as a result of those attacks, your unit gains D2 plus 2 lost wounds.
So just a little heal strat.
Yeah.
I like that. It's occasionally useful. I think you would most want to use that on a big knight. I feel like the D3 wounds won't always get the CP out of me.
No, I mean, it can in a pinch, especially if it like changes you from not being bracketed or not taking a battle shock anymore, you know, that type of thing. It might be a niche value.
Yeah.
But 2d3 plus 2 is actually a lot.
Yeah, it's just D3 plus 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, d3 plus 2.
But still helpful.
Like an average of 4 is not bad.
Yeah.
That's like a third of a night.
It is notable, though, that you have less ways in this detachment to cause battle shock tests.
I was about to ask, this doesn't seem like the battle shock detachment.
It's not.
What is the Chaos Knight faction rule?
So the faction rule is that from turn 1 onwards, each Chaos Knight is an aura of -1 leadership. And then on turn 3 onwards, you are +1 to wound against battle shocked enemies, and battle shocked enemies are -1 to hit.
But you're not causing battle shocks on anyone just below starting strength.
That was the detachment rule.
I understand.
But this says, I believe you get the -1 leadership all the time, and then the turn 3 buffs.
So this is super niche, but it's
Yeah. You know, the old detachment was using the army rule either, so.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Sadly.
Anything's better than that. That whole detachment is basically move through walls.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, next stratagem here. Unrestrained Rage. This one I love. This is
the strat?
This is the strat. 1 CP in your movement phase after a Chaos Knight from your army advances or falls back. It can shoot and declare a charge.
This is the strat.
This is the strat.
This is the strat.
The Brigand that can fall back in charge, the Carnivore that can advance in charge. That's what I wanted.
Does it shoot also or no? Shoot and charge.
Shoot and
my
charge.
God.
It is activate no matter what.
That's amazing. I mean, tagging Chaos Knights is definitely a tactic you can use to just make their army not do what it needs to in a given turn.
Yep.
And then on top of that, pre-measuring Chaos Knights is a real thing. You can just be like, you move this far, your line of sight ends there. Your range stops here. I will just be outside of that.
Thank God. That's
now that you have advance on any given night, anywhere on the board.
And it could be Titanic.
And it could be Titanic still for 1 CP. This changes how your opponent plays against you fundamentally.
Yeah. So let me give you the small sauce here, which is that you know how Titanic Knights, because I've looked into this, you know how Titanic Knights can move through walls?
Yeah.
But if they do want a 2+, they're fine on the 1, they're battle shocked.
Yeah.
So the sequencing of the stratagem, because it's just after you make the advance or fallback move, you can pop this stratagem before you roll to see if you're battle shocked.
Just after.
I went and checked because this is just after, and the 2+ roll is after.
So you advance your Rampager or whatever through the wall.
Lancer.
I'm sorry. You advance your Lancer through the wall.
Yeah.
And then it can advance and charge.
Correct.
And then maybe it's battle shock, maybe it's not.
But you've already used
But
the
you're
strat.
charging it anyway.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And so it's 1 CP, and like a Lancer moves 14,
Yeah.
and it can advance and charge.
The man
That
goes
is
fast.
Fast.
Yeah. No, through walls, like there's no
Yeah.
the only way to move block that is with infantry blocking its landing spot, basically.
Yeah, but now since it's random, it's like you have to block out the 6.
Yeah.
Because I can roll the advance and then decide if I'm using the strat. Like
yeah.
if I roll a 1 and there's nowhere to go, I'll just keep behind the wall.
Yeah.
Like, what do I care?
I love that. This gives Chaos Knights like a legitimate counter charge, but aggro dynamic piece.
Yep.
I really like that.
Yeah. I think it's this stratagem alone is so
enough.
good to me. Yeah, honestly.
And I really think we're underselling cultists here. Like getting cheap trash into Chaos
I'm
Knights
quite
is
happy.
really nice.
I'm quite happy, yeah.
Yeah. Worthless chattel. You use it in your shooting phase for 1 CP. You target 1 damned unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, enemy units are not considered to be within engagement range of your unit for the purposes of selecting targets of ranged weapons. Until the end of the phase, each time an enemy model loses a wound, while that model's unit is within engagement range of your unit, roll a d6 on a 4+. 1 model from your unit is destroyed after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks.
Yeah. It's a little niche because objectively you can just like fall back to the cultists. But as soon as you hit that scenario where you can't fall back to the cultists, you're going to be very grateful that you can shoot them.
Yeah.
It's also very thematic. I like shooting into combat and just like killing a couple cultists as I blow away the Space Marines.
Yeah.
I'm super down for that.
I think this is really nice. It's also, if you want to keep something tied up, maybe you jam like 20 cultists into something and it's not really going to kill it fast, but if they fall back, they're not going to be tied up now. Now you can shoot at it and keep it tied up.
Also very valuable. Yeah, I think this is nice.
This is a nice strat. I like that a lot.
All right. And then we have one more, which is Preserve the Idols.
Reserving them.
And this is in your opponent's movement phase after they end a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of a Chaos Knight. You then select a damned unit that is within 6 inches of the Chaos Knight. And that damned unit makes a normal move of up to 6. But it does have to end that move closer than when it started.
Just closer.
Just closer.
That is really nifty.
It's weird.
I'm not sure like how I would apply it, but a reactive move is always good.
Yeah.
It's a little conditional, but it's a reactive move that is super annoying to play around because your army's going to have like 10, maybe 8 Chaos Knights in it if you do a big knight. And then there's going to be like cultists scattered amongst all of them. So if your opponent like gets in 9 inches of any of your Chaos Knights, any of your cultist squads could move.
I think this is really good against melee armies.
Yeah. Because then you could like block that charge.
Block them, yeah.
Yeah.
I think against shooting things, it's not that big a deal. I mean, like maybe you know, in a situation you'll be able to find a good value for that move.
Yeah.
But just like moving a cultist unit closer to the enemy after they move near a Chaos Knight is like, oh, that's nice. But because like a War Dog, for example, is less than 6 inches across, a cultist unit behind a War Dog could just go step in front of a War Dog. Like it's about to get charged by War Leaders or something.
I was just thinking 8-bound walk to as close as they can realistically. And then cultists just say like, actually, we're going to stand in front of you.
Yep.
That's legitimately good.
Yeah, that's helpful.
I mean, that's a niche scenario, but World Leaders is like a match that's really bad for Chaos Knights. This helps their problems.
Yeah, and you know, because you don't want too many knights getting touched at once, you don't want that. Having the cultists step in the way could be very useful sometimes. I think it's a niche stratagem, but when it's good, it's great.
Yeah.
And that's fine, right? Like I'll spend all my CP on you know, just advancing falling back. Like because I'm going to tap that stratagem 5 times a game, I think.
For sure. Or another like niche uses of it is someone is playing that KG game with you and they put like just enough onto an objective to steal it from you with OC and then more cultists pile on. That's nice.
That does make it pretty easy as well.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the detachment. Kind of looking at this big picture, I think I like it.
I like it.
I think it gives a good amount of you know, difference between this and the index detachment. The index detachment for Chaos Knights is solid. It unfortunately has like 60% dead rules, but the couple of things that are there are real gems.
Move through walls is crazy.
Move through walls is crazy. That's kind of it. I genuinely believe that I'm willing to trade move through walls for the advance and fall back and shoot charge stratagem. I think I'm willing to make that trade.
Not only that, that's like a pretty honest trade, like great strat for great strat, but you also just get cultists, scouting cultists. And I think scouting cultists within the context of Chaos Knights actually give it the ability to play a dynamic game of Warhammer, which it has been sorely lacking.
I agree. I'm quite excited because I'm definitely going to play a game with the Iconoclast Fiefdom soon. We're going to get that up in the War Room before the end of the month. I am really looking forward to just like seeing how it works. But my instinct is that I like having these rules, and I really want to have the cultists. If you go down the roster of the damned units allowed, besides the generic cultists, you know, you've got Trader Guardsmen, Beastmen, ACDCs, the Firebrand. I like regular cultists and the Firebrand the best. I think the Firebrand actually has some really cool
What do you like
synergy.
about the Firebrand here?
So the Firebrand has 2 rules. One, when it shoots an infantry, it forces a battle shock test.
Yeah.
And if they're
And
within
that's
12 of
Chaos
Chaos
Knight
Knight, they're
synergy.
minus. Yep. Those are the battle shock tests that we can't force, but that we benefit from you being battle shocked. Yeah. Firebrands. And second, the Firebrand when is leadership 6, not 7. And when he's attached to a Chaos Cultist unit, it rerolls all leadership tests.
So it gets to reroll these dreaded master things.
So a worry that I have on first read is that if you have 10 cultists standing behind a line of brigands, just like behind a wall and they're the battery,
yeah,
you could totally realistically shoot 2 brigands. You take some leadership 7 tests, you fail both. You lose 6 plus 2d3 cultists and they're just dead.
yeah,
Like I could totally see, oh yeah, I shot 2 brigands and I killed my own 10-man cultist unit. And for what? For 2 things of sustained hits, you're hoping you got 1 extra melta hit and you might not have.
right.
That could feel a little bad. But I think if you have like 1 big squad with a Firebrand,
That's
it's like a 20-man. You can still hide it because they're minuscule. When it's a leadership 6 re-rolling test, it's going to take a long time to chew through that battery.
I think that's some really nice.
And
tech.
it'll stick you an objective in your deployment zone still, and it'll just like live there. And then when your opponent pushes up, you have a quick, oops, here's a battle shock for him.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm thinking like 5-6 squads of cultist units just like literally running around. 3 of them scout, play the forward game on like all 3 flanks, center, left, and right. And then 3 of them are like behind, screen your backfield, beat the batteries that you need all game. And then they can, again, be more trade pieces.
I agree. And because cultists are battle line, you can just do all of that.
Yeah, you sure can.
That all fits.
Yeah. When I said take 5 or 6 squads, do that.
Yep.
This is good.
Yeah, do it. So I like the detachment rule. I think it's really fun. Just getting the scouting idiots running around the table to be sacrificed for the dark gods. Big fan of that. And then the stratagems. These stratagems kind of remind me of the index, where 2 or 3 of them are just like, I guess that's there.
Yeah.
And then
every now and then you might use
one
it.
of them is phenomenal. And then there's a couple that I'm like, I'm glad I have this. And I'll use it when it comes up.
Yeah. That's true.
And so, yeah, I think this is just like a small upgrade on the index detachment, but it's going to play differently. And when you've been an index army with the exact same army list for over 12 months, plays differently is the best thing I could ask for.
Yeah, I really had no idea how they were going to make a Chaos Knight detachment actually feel different, but I think they nailed it.
Yeah.
They really. This is like reason to play big knights, reason to run Chaos Cultists, which you just don't even have access to otherwise. I think this is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this. Again, if you want to see an army list, make sure you sign up for the War Room. You can get that link in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. And in addition, it's also going to be 50% off your first month if you sign up now with the coupon code GROTMAS2024, all caps.
That's right. So you can see John's list with the Chaos Knights. Not only that, we have lists for every single detachment coming out this month. If you want to catch more of that, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. It really helps us continue doing what we're doing. We love doing that for you. And you can check out all these wonderful games that we're playing in the War Room with that Grotmas 2024, 50% off that John was just mentioning.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Wait!
Oh, there's more.
Super chats!
Oh, there's super chats. Thank you, Nick. You
Cannot
saved
forget
me.
the super
You cannot
chats.
forget the super chats. All right. So our first super chat is from Alice Adair C. Thank you so much. GW not putting a rotate ion shields type stratagem into this detachment like they've done with Armor of Contempt and Marine ones is certainly a choice. It is rather interesting. I also would have guessed that Diabolic Bulwark would have been like the goes in every detachment thing. But I'm going to be really honest. I don't like that stratagem. I don't use it in my Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Like, it's a trap. You're going to roll the 4s if you don't use it, and you're going to roll 5s and 3s if you do use it. It just...
Oh, God. The number of times that I've used that strat as the Knight player, as like whatever faction I'm playing player, and just, it doesn't connect. It just doesn't work.
Every once in a while, it saves me when I have like 4 CP left, but I genuinely prefer CP reroll to rotate.
Yeah.
So I would have guessed that as well, but I'm glad to have the variety.
And then we got Charlie Blowers with a $2 super chat. This detachment blows. I'm really disappointed. Charlie, I'm sorry. I appreciate you. I appreciate your super chat. But I genuinely think this detachment has a lot of interesting play. I think it's really cool.
I think that this detachment incentivizes a big knight better than the old one. I don't know if it's enough because every time I try a big knight, I go right back to taking 3 dogs instead. But I'm willing to be hurt again.
Hey, let's try it.
I'm willing to be hurt again.
Stick that hand in that fire.
I absolutely will. What's the worst that could happen? It burns me? Not this time.
Nah. And then Mithril Blade 04 became a War Room Bronze member. Welcome to the War Room, and thank you so much for subscribing.
Thank you,
enjoy it.
Mithril Blade.
All right, everybody, that's going to be it for our coverage, but don't go anywhere because in 30 minutes we will be back with John and Quentin talking about the Imperial Knight detachment. And just last but not least, James Stout with the $2 super chat. Does this open Big Knights up? I think so.
I think so. I think that a Lancer that could advance and charge through walls is very interesting. And that is incredibly fast. And there's a lot of armies that just like flat can't get away from that.
Yeah.
And also the Lancer does have the nice synergy of buffing Brigands. And for what it's worth, I believe Brigands are the best war dog for this detachment because they're actually going to be near your cultists.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm willing to try it. I think this is the excuse I've been looking for to actually paint up a Chaos Knight Lance or something.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoy this one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 30 minutes with an Imperial Knight video and daily content. Subscribe for notifications, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.